left in half an hour from now. It's 7:15. The metropolitan forecast for today, we're expecting showers increasing during the day with a maximum of around 15 degrees. And just looking further up along the coast today in the Pilbara, most centres expecting maximums of
It's early morning. Colin Best has finished breakfast and is ready to start the last leg of his long trip from Perth. The blasting crew at Mount Whaleback begins the day filling the charge holes with the explosive mixture. Later on, 300,000 tonnes of ore will be shattered from the bench face. Peter Gooch has guided many ships to the wharf at Port Hedland.
Port Hedland Harbour.
6 hours from now, a Japanese ore ship will be loading iron ore.
And speed.
Shortly before 8 o'clock, Scylla Stack takes her daughter to school in Karratha.
Well, we came up here nearly a year ago now when my husband was appointed shire engineer. We were very pleased to come here because it's one of the fastest growing shires in the state and it's quite an exciting job for him to have. It's a very new place, of course, and at the moment particularly there is a feeling that it's a very rapidly developing place.
The day starts early for those who live in the northwest, and it's not just the people who are on the move. There are over 100,000 cattle in the Pilbara. From time to time, the pastoralist musters his herd to find out how many stock he has, to weigh them, to send some to market, and to tag the new calves. These cattle are on Malina Station. Not far from the homestead is the spot where an early settler, Jimmy Withnall, picked up a stone to throw at a crow and found the rock was a lump of gold. This opened up the Pilbara goldfields, and 200 kilometres east of here, gold was mined at Marble Bar. Marble Bar is known by most people for its high temperatures and the bar of banded jasper. Northwest tidal creeks and seas are unsuitable for swimming, but fishing is popular and rewarding.
It's coming up to 7 minutes past 11 o'clock, 6NEW FM stereo.
And Newman's weather today is pretty cloudy outside. Little or no rain expected with light winds.
Like all the staff at Radio 6NEW, Wayne Perkins is a volunteer.
20 degrees.
The whole operation of the radio station is run by enthusiastic amateurs who find it an interesting and worthwhile hobby. Normally, Wayne works at the Mount Newman mine as a haul pack driver. All the chargers have been laid and connected. When a shelf is being blasted, nothing is left to chance. All work stops in that section of the mine and the workers are taken off to lunch.
Some boulders, that's my area all clear and I'm clearing out now.
The blasting manager makes a personal check of all the levels. When he's satisfied they're clear, the charges can be detonated.
Hook her up.
Firing in 30 seconds.
Twenty seconds. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
At this mine, some 280,000 tons of material are shifted each day, 7 days a week, 363 days a year. That's a lot of iron ore. The ore is crushed at the mine and then taken to the coast by train.
Roger, your first one, 10 kilometres an hour at the passing track Walla. 35.
Traffic controllers at Port Hedland monitor all the trains for their whole journey.
7-8 Hedland.
Go ahead, Sardinia. Right, do you want me to stop at 65 if we do have any west side there, or want me to run straight to Walla?
It'll take about 10 hours non-stop to cover the longest privately owned railway in Australia. After unloading and more crushing, the ore is stockpiled to await the ore ship. Each year, more cargo is shipped out of Port Hedland than from Fremantle.
Hedland Harbour to Shinyo Maru. The pilot will board your ship at 16:40. Please maintain your present course and speed. And the pilot is leaving now.
Hi, Mike Romeo, Roger.
Port Hedland Port Authority was one of the first in Australia to use helicopters to carry the harbour pilot to or from the ships.
Port Hedland School is here, Year 6. Good morning, Juliet Munda. Over.
Good morning, Ms. Lambert. Over.
Do you have any news today, Julie? Over.
Yes, Ms. Lambert.
You know we've started shearing this week and Dad's been mustering for days. Over.
Oh, yes, I remember. Go on.
Well, one of the boys fell off the bike. Over.
Goodness, I hope he wasn't badly hurt. Did you have to call the flying doctor? Over.
Oh no, the bike is in a mess, but Joe is all right. We have another bike ready for him. Over.
Thank you for your news, Julie. Now we'll go on to maps. Open up to page 46.
Although some pastoralists still muster on horseback, most of them are now using motorbikes with air support. Even though many stations have changed over to cattle, sheep are still an important part of the economy of the region. Kevin Searle is the gun shearer. He'll handle some 200 sheep each day. Like the other shearers in the team, Kevin is a visitor to the Pilbara and only comes up for short periods on contract. It's a long drive from Perth, but truck drivers make the journey in 2 days of hard driving. Fresh food and household goods are the main cargoes.
Isolation of Karratha makes for a few problems. For one thing, the prices at the shopping centre are higher. We find that everything has quite a bit of freight added to it. I think because you are in an isolated place, you go out and look for more to do probably than perhaps you do if you're living in the city. Oh, I found I needed an interest. I was appointed secretary of the Cossack Project Committee. I'm a history student, and now I'm very, very actively involved in a project to restore the old historic town site of Cossack and get the town looking more like the old Cossack of the 1860s and 80s.
These old buildings represent the style, craftsmanship and materials of another age. Tiny Anderson would have no idea how many hundreds of thousands of bricks he's helped to make during his last 7 years on the Karratha Light Industrial Estate. Tiny could, however, easily see where they've gone, to the houses, shops, hospitals, schools and recreation buildings in the fastest growing town in Western Australia. Among the reasons for the growth of Karratha in the 1980s is the North West Shelf project. One of the biggest engineering projects ever undertaken in Australia is the building of the submarine pipeline stretching 135 kilometres from Burrup Peninsula to the North Rankin gas field. A new supply base had to be built. King Bay was dredged, a loading wharf built, and the site protected from the cyclonic seas by a sea wall. Not far away can be found the Dampier Salt Company. Salt farming needs long hours of sunshine and large areas. It takes 2 years of sun and 65 tonnes of seawater to produce each tonne of salt. At first, the Dampier Salt Company used the natural flow of the tides, but now has found it more convenient to pump the salt water into its beds. While developing the site, many fine examples of Aboriginal art were discovered and are being protected. Further inland, the Hamersley Ranges attract many visitors each year. The rugged beauty of the gorges is impressive any time of day, although the colours are best seen in the late afternoon. Regular flights from Perth make family reunions possible. Many young families find the separation from relatives one of the hardest parts of settling into a new home in the north. When evening comes, for many it's time to do something different. As in most country areas, a high proportion of people are involved in sports of all kinds.
122.3 degrees east.
Others may be involved in more serious voluntary activities.
Thank you.
X-ray Delta 5, pass your message.
Members of the State Emergency Service practice in careful simulation so they're ready should a disaster occur.
Now 7:30 and we are clear of disaster site. Over.
Message understood. Now, 5. Would you please proceed to corner of Anderson and Wilson Street, Port Hedland? We have a minor disaster there. Do you require any further assistance? Men are available.
This training might not be everyone's idea of fun, but it has to be done. Getting things done and enjoying being involved, that's typical of the people who live in the Pilbara.
X-ray Delta, this is X-ray Delta 5.
This is X-ray Delta, X-ray Delta, X-ray Delta 5, pass your message.
5-8 Hedland. Doing some speed restrictions there, madam?
Yes, I have, Miss Lambert. You know we started shearing this week and Dad's been mustering for days over.
Tom Bowlers, that's my area clear, John. We'll clear this area now.